Happy Sunday morning, Hap F1 fans. My name is Dr. David Mukanga, one of the Hap F1 members. I hope you are able to catch up with the rest, the qualifiers for the Saudi race yesterday. If you are not able, the qualifiers for the race that's taking place today, March the 20th, we want to spend some time just talking about how the qualifiers went and you know, discuss the surprises that are going on from different teams, and you know, what might be happening today, what we predict to be happening today at the race. So for those of you who didn't catch the qualifiers yesterday, it was fascinating. The predictable happened, the unpredictable happened. Red Bull came out at the top, not the car that you expected. Sergio came out at the top. Verstappen had the problem with his gearbox, so he didn't start qualifier number 2, Q2, and of course Q3. So he starts in 15th place because of that. He was at the top in Q1, but then ran into those issues. So his gearbox is being changed. Surprise, very early change in gearbox. Of course, teams are allowed to change up to three gearboxes, I believe, that they're allowed in the season. Now, the second position was taken by Charles from Ferrari. He put in a really good lap towards at the end of Q3 and got that second position. He of course has a grid penalty, 10 place grid penalty for changing parts, and we'll start that will then be at P12 you know, today. And then the Aston Martins followed very closely, and then you know, the Mercedes drivers were behind that, and as well as the second Ferrari. So that's how it panned out. That's the way things start today. So it's Sergio in first place, Charles, and then Alonso in third. And that's the big story of this season. Everyone is asking, what's going on? How does Aston Martin, a car that's not a works team, that gets its parts from another company, a Mercedes works team, its engine, its chassis, its gearbox, how does it outflank? How does it outflank its provider of its core parts? And I would say while it's interesting and surprising, I think for those who have known Mercedes and its strengths and its limitations, this is not a surprise. We have known for a long time that Mercedes is very good at producing reliable, powerful engines, but its aerodynamics packages are always, you know, neither here nor there. So they have a lot of work. They've been struggling last season. This season, they still are yet to figure out the right aerodynamics package for the new rules that came into force in this dispensation. So Aston Martin looks like they have been able to, in addition to the parts they get from Mercedes, get something close to a Red Bull. The story goes that they've copied quite a bit. Now, anybody else could copy within the rules, but it's not as easy as copying. You have to have a smart team that's able to copy what is visible and design a package that can deliver. And I think part of that is some of the staff at Aston Martin came from Red Bull, and they know the DNA of Red Bull and brought some of that. There's a lot of competition, and people change, personnel change, they move from one team to another. You are struggling with aerodynamics, you know, get an engineer, an aerodynamics engineer from a team that has figured it out. That's part of the sport. So that's where we are. You know, Aston Martin very much in the seem to be having a fantastic package in terms of a car, and very much in the works, and putting Ferrari and Mercedes, you know, under a lot of pressure. So let's talk about the circuit today and what to expect. Saudi, I think this is the third race at this circuit. The first race was in 2021, that was won by Lewis. Then 2022, I'm blanking on who won that. Was it Charles? You know, I don't think Verstappen won that, but it's one of those two drivers. So this is the third race anyway. This is a street circuit prone to accidents. It's a high-speed circuit, but street circuit, tight corners. It's always had red flags, at least in the last two races. There have been some modifications to enlarge those corners and, you know, sort of diminish the risk of collisions and accidents as people try to overtake or navigate those bends. So theoretically, today's race will have the less probability of a red flag. Those are probabilities. They will remain probabilities, but one would expect that there will be a red flag, one or two red flags during the race. And that feeds into, you know, how teams think about strategy. When do you pit? When do you not pit? Do you wait for the red flag? Do you hang out there even when your tires are gone, and so on? But otherwise, this is a race that favors a one pit stop. You know, either start on a soft or medium tire, push a couple of laps, and then go to the hard tire and push to the very end. I think most teams started with you know, qualified with the soft, so most teams would start definitely on the soft then, and then perhaps switch to a hard tire and push to the very end. But one has to bear in mind that, you know, as you just have pitted, you know, the red flag would come out and you've lost all that time and lost, you know, a position on the you know, lost position. So that will play a lot, I would think, in terms of how teams think about when to pit and so on. But otherwise, whether, you know, who will win the race, my sense is Sergio has the package, and he will just try to stay at the, you know, start well and stay at the front to stay there, and I would think he would. The other question is whether Max will be able to move, you know, from 15 to the very front. That's a tall order. I would suspect that, you know, he'll probably finish in the P3 to P5 range. You know, he has a good package. He can overtake, you know, almost at will, and the aggressiveness that he has as a driver. I think also that the uncertainty of the circuit lends it very well for the other teams, Ferrari and Aston Martin and Mercedes, to really be in the mix. For my Mercedes team fans, you know, George and Lewis have a chance to be in the mix, but not at the top, you know, perhaps, you know, from P4, P5, you know, P6. I think that's their place today. It's gonna be an interesting race, but who knows, there may be surprises there with crashes and things like that. But that's, you know, that's where I would put them today in the race. So it's going to be an exciting race, a lot of uncertainty, which is great for watching F1 races. So enjoy the race today. I won't be able to join you all watching from the hub. I'll be watching from Arusha, and let's compare notes after the race. So happy watching, Hub One fans. Bye for now.